Hello there, Cornwall from here. Hello. Welcome to another video on the Nintendo Switch and also comments regarding a new Nintendo Switch model from Nintendo's president Shuntaro Furukawa and how it could impact the Switch Pro and when we could see Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 again. Let's just say that this year he didn't say that we have no plans of announcing or launching any new Switch models like he did during the same briefing in 2020. But first, be sure to leave a like. If you're new, subscribe to help the channel grow and press that notification bell and again for all notifications to not miss any videos like this one. But now, let's get into the most meaty Nintendo news so far in 2021. Since the Nintendo Switch has surpassed the lifetime sales of the 3DS in half of the time it took the 3DS to get there. Even more so, it has by the end of January more than certainly surpassed 80 million sold Nintendo Switches worldwide. But that's not all, as the Nintendo Switch might already be on the verge, and certainly with Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury in February and Monster Hunter Rise in March, plus two of the best Switch bundles so far attached to these, surpass the 81.5 million total lifetime sales of the Game Boy Advance before the end of this fiscal year on March 31st. Meaning that only three other Nintendo systems, the Wii with 101.5 million, the Game Boy with 118.7 million, and the DS with its record high 154 million have sold more than the Nintendo Switch in total. Software-wise, only two systems have sold more, the golden generation Nintendo Wii and Nintendo DS, who both have sold more than 900 million games. The Switch still has around 400 million to catch up to these two, but I wouldn't exactly disclose this possibility for a few reasons which we'll soon get back to. But let's move back to hardware sales, as the next in line after the 3DS and Game Boy Advance to overtake in lifetime sales for the Switch is the Wii with its 101.5 million sold consoles. The best-selling Nintendo home console of all time, which could be surpassed by the Nintendo Switch based on this graph and projected sales until the end of March and the rest of the year. That yes, we might be celebrating over 100 million sold Switches and also at the same time more Switches sold than the Wii before or at the same time as the launch of Breath of the Wild sequel. So before the Nintendo Switch and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild's 5th anniversaries. Speaking of Breath of the Wild, it remains the Nintendo Switch's 4th best-selling title of all time, with 21.45 million copies sold on the Switch alone, and one of 6 Nintendo Switch titles that have sold more than 20 million copies. The others being Super Mario Odyssey, which has been surpassed by Pokemon Sword and Shield, Zelda, as mentioned, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The last two are the kings of the Nintendo Switch with over 30 million sold copies worldwide. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still on top by the end of 2020 with 33.4 million copies, but it seems that it was only the holiday bundle that saved its crown from being taken by Animal Crossing New Horizons, since this title keeps on selling with 31.2 million copies sold worldwide and will most likely surpass Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in 2021. The better question is if it can do it by its first anniversary on March 20th. The sales numbers between Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with its 22.8 million and Breath of the Wild's 21.45 million is also so close that Smash might still lose the spot on the podium to Zelda with a second boost following the release of Breath of the Wild sequel this year or in 2022. And it could be coupled with a new Nintendo Switch model, the long-rumored new Nintendo Switch Pro, or Nintendo Switch Nova as we like to call it here on the Commonwealth front. Since unlike last year, when Nintendo's president Shuntaro Furukawa stated that there are no plans for new Switch models, reveals and releases throughout 2020, this time President Furukawa had this to say to the unavoidable question, quote, "As for the new models, we're not planning to make an announcement anytime soon, as we have the Mario version in February and the Monster Hunter version in March." End quote. In other words, nothing planned before the end of the fiscal year on March 31st, which makes sense as Nintendo wants to sell as many base model Nintendo Switches, and in particular the Mario 35th anniversary and Monster Hunter Rise bundles before a new model reveal. It also seems that this is a clear indication that we should not expect any big Nintendo Directs as well, and with it new trailers and footage of Breath of the Wild sequel until the end of March, which let's be honest, we don't need when February is packed with both first party and third party exclusives, and in March we have the Switch exclusive Monster Hunter Rise. Then there's April, where we have new Pokemon Snap from Bandai Namco, and after that nothing Nintendo first party confirmed for the rest of the year, with only Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel and Metroid Prime 4 far out there on the horizon. Both franchises with their 35th anniversaries in 2021, but where only one of them seems to have any chance to make it by the end of the year. That being Zelda, the game's development appears to progress nicely since it was started at the end of 2017, and as an assets, character and open world reusing title, it looks to be in a far better position to release late in 2021. Based on Furukawa's comment regarding no new Nintendo Switch model announcements anytime soon, it wouldn't come as a surprise if they want to pair this one with Breath of the Wild sequel, as we saw how well that worked in 2017 with Breath of the Wild and in 2019 with the Switch Lite and Link's Awakening. Zelda paired with new Switch models just works. And with the 35th anniversary of the Zelda franchise, it is the perfect opportunity to boost the sales of both. Personally, I believe that Nintendo is holding back new footage of Breath of the Wild sequel until they can show the game running at its best on a new Nintendo Switch model with higher resolution and better and more stable frame rates. And hopefully also with the first Zelda Switch bundle, as we haven't had one in 4 years. 4 years! Even worse than Angry Joe's experience with 4-hour-long games. 4 hours! Joking aside, the more I look at the patterns, the more it makes sense for Nintendo, much like in 2016 for Zelda's 30th anniversary, to wait with the celebrations until after February 21st. Only in the case of the 35th anniversary, they might just wait until after March, and in a presentation which also reveals a new Nintendo Switch, which game is running on it, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Both possibly coming October or November 2021 and immediately securing Nintendo another year of record holiday sales. So summing up, this is how I think 2021 will look based on the current lineup and Furukawa's response. First, Mario and Monster Hunter will hug the spotlight until March 31st, when 3D All-Stars might die, and Nintendo will only have new Pokemon Snap in terms of first-party Nintendo IPs confirmed for 2021, which could make April the month when we see a new trailer, or even gameplay of Breath of the Wild sequel and the reveal of a new Nintendo Switch Pro model. Though personally, I predict that we might have to wait until May or even June. The more I think of it, we might wait until June if we're getting a dual Zelda and Switch Pro presentation and launch this year. With the worldwide situation still not allowing any indoor expos until most likely the time when a Switch Pro and Zelda could release, it seems that E3 will not take place again, or at best be fully digital. You know, just like Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show was last year. And this E3 spot in June is also when Sony revealed the PlayStation 5 and some of its lineup, including Horizon Forbidden West, through the showcase last year. But what if Nintendo, seeing that E3 is likely not going to take place or just be digital, realize that they can take a Sony and steal the attention of the entire world during E3 week in June and both reveal a new Nintendo Switch model and bring back Breath of the Wild sequel in one and the same presentation, replacing the E3 Nintendo Direct format from 2018 and 2019. And then confirm here or in a later presentation with another Zelda trailer that Nintendo Switch's top model is launching the same day and date as Breath of the Wild sequel near the holidays. That is if Zelda of course is ready in 2021 instead of 2022 for the 5th anniversary of Breath of the Wild. And I actually think that looks like a rather realistic timeline for 2021. But what do you think about all of this? Sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, then be sure to like this video, subscribe to Commonwealth Realm, press that notification bell and again for all notifications. Finally, a big thanks goes to all our great patreon.com/commonrealm patrons, and in particular royal producer Charles Shash, and also our members here on YouTube. That is all, but please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.